Why are so many people overwhelmed with clutter? Disorganization is causing shame, suffering, friendships, time, money. People just like you wondering where and how to create an organized lifestyle. This podcast offers expert tips and solutions for your clutter obstacles. My name is Rachel Seavey, and this is the Organized Podcast.
Hey collectors, welcome to the Organized Podcast. It's your host, professional organizer, Rachel Seavey, and today we are talking about the process of getting organized. This is something that I do pretty much every day as a living, and I wanted to share with you the process. A lot of the times people will call me, it'll be, a first time kind of introductory call, and we'll schedule an appointment and they'll say, well, what kind of containers should I get? And this is like before I've even shown up at their house, before we've ever looked in any drawer. And so it's a thing. And Darla DeMaro and I kind of talked about it briefly in her podcast that I had her on last month, whereas you never get the containers first. You might have containers laying around. That's great. Those might qualify as usable containers later on down the road, but do not go out and get any sort of organizing tool, container until it's time. And it's definitely not step one. So what is step one? Step one is sorting. Now, I go into sorting a lot in different episodes, so I'll try and keep this one brief. If you're just starting out, I like to suggest that you sort all your categories by room. So I'll give you a brief example. Let's say you've got a pile of stuff on your dining room table, and it might have all sorts of different categories on it. So you're going to want to have some different containers. They don't have to be perfect, just so that you can use them for sorting. You're going to want to sort out the makeup and cosmetics and maybe some of the supplements and things into a box labeled bathroom. You're going to want to sort out all of the kitchen items, food, utensils, clean dishes, dirty dishes into a box for kitchen. You're going to collect the hangers and the clothing and the slippers and the socks. You're going to put them into a box called bedroom. You're going to collect all the paperwork that's mounted on that table together, and you can put it in a box labeled office. And these are just examples. These are just really broad examples. But you definitely don't want to start out the process micro-sorting. You want to start out with broad categories. The idea is just to corral like items together. You're not making any decisions. You don't have to get rid of your favorite items. You're just sorting things out to see what you have on that table. Okay, so that's the very first step, is the sorting process. Step number 2 is you're going to want to make a decision. So you have items sorted out by like categories. You're going to want to take one of those items and you're going to want to ask yourself if you want to keep it, if you want to donate it, if it's something that you feel is of high value. I stress high value, worth your time, energy, stress, etc. You could decide to sell it. You could decide to trash or recycle it because maybe it doesn't have a second life. So the second item that you're going to do is you're going to decide what you want to do with these items, okay? You're going to make those decisions and you're going to put them into appropriate categories such as keep, donate, sell, discard, recycle. Okay? Number 3 is you're going to want to disperse these containers of like items that you have decided that you wanted to keep into their appropriate room and appropriate space to see if they actually fit. Because it really doesn't matter if everything's beautiful and everything's clean and you love, love, love everything. If it doesn't fit, it doesn't fit, baby. It just won't. So let's say you've corralled all of your shampoos and lotions and conditioners and bathroom items into a bathroom box, for example. And you go into your bathroom. Of course, it only has a pedestal sink, right? No storage. And you say, okay, I've got 4 small boxes worth of cosmetics, shampoos, conditioners, lotions, etc. I've got 2 boxes of first aid, which I was hoping would fit in the medicine cabinet. And so you open the medicine cabinet and you see it's already full. Okay, so let's just be real. This is probably what's going to happen to you. So now you're going to have to decide with what's in the medicine cabinet. Is that old? Is it stuff that you can just get rid of and replace with the new stuff that you've collected from around the house? Or does it have to be incorporated into the stuff you've decided you want to keep? And most importantly, will it all fit in the medicine cabinet? It's wonderful that you've got all your like items together. I know people really feel good about that. But you've got to disperse them, which is the third step, into the area that they're going to live in. And you've got to make sure that there's enough space. And this is where it gets really tricky for people, because you probably are going to have to edit some more. It's very likely you don't have the amount of space that you wish you had for all of these items that you love. So you're going to have to probably review your items again, edit them again, go back to step 2 with the decision making, and then again to step 3 and disperse and see, do these items fit? Does all of this makeup fit into this drawer? Do all of my hairbrushes fit? Does my hair dryer and hair curler and straightener, do these all fit? It doesn't really matter if you love them or not, to be honest, because it's just not going to fit whether you love them or not. So that's actually the real important part. Is step 3 is dispersing the things, getting them to where they should ultimately live. And this happens all around the house. You probably have too many utensils for your utensil drawer. You go to put the ones you've found around the house away, and it's already full. So you're going to have to go back a step. You're going to have to make those decisions again, and then you're going to have to see if it fits. Okay? I'll move on to step number 4. And step number 4 is to organize. Once you've seen that your amount of items can fit in its allocated space, that is when you want to organize. That is when you say, what kind of containers do I need? What kind of tools or hacks could make my life easier and more efficient? That's when you measure and you figure out exactly what kind of container you need. And it could be online, you could go to the Goodwill, you could use a shoebox that you already have. It's really not important what kind of container you end up using at the end, which is kind of my point. You know, if you want everything all beautiful and frilly, you can go get matching containers somewhere. This is the time in the process to do it. Once you've eliminated all of the excess, once you've discovered that everything fits, that, my lovely, lovely collectors, is when you actually start to organize. So I hope that makes sense. I hope you don't just go to Marshall's and pick up random containers for things you don't even know what you're going to put in them. I know that's such a habit that people have. Stop doing it. Do not buy containers unless you know exactly what they're for and that they will fit. You've measured, you've got good intentions. And for those of you that have already stocked up on containers with no intentions, use what you already have before you go out and buy more. Collect all your containers together. That could be a category. And then once you're ready to organize, you probably have exactly what you need in your stash, is what I've found, and maybe even more. And if you do end up with more containers than you actually need, donate them, because everyone loves containers. You can take them to your Goodwill, thrift store, put them on Buy Nothing. Okay, collectors, so there you go. There's the process. Make sure you don't skip any steps. And before you know it, you and your life will be organized. Until next time, collectors, and remember, happiness is a place between too little and too much.
Thank you for listening to the Organized Podcast. Please make sure you're subscribed and join our Organized Podcast Facebook page and get additional tips and challenges.